Okay, welcome back everybody to another dual saber. It's not going to be a lesson this time, it's just going to be a routine video, and this video was actually suggested to me in a previous video, and I thought it would be a good video to do because I've done a similar video in my staff series. And if any of you have seen that series, then you'll know that there was a video towards the end that covered basically an example practice routine you could do. Now that's essentially what this video is going to be. It's going to be just a quick, simple routine you can take yourself through to practice all the moves that I've covered in this dual saber series. And that's really what it's intended for. There's probably several routines you could do for these moves, but this is one I've just put together. It's not going to be as fluid as my staff routine was because, again, you're dealing with two separate weapons here working individually of each other rather than having just one weapon. But yeah, this should take you through, I believe, every technique I've covered in this particular series, which should help you practice each of those moves as well as some transitions between some of the moves. Okay? So first of all, I'm not going to cover the simultaneous basic moves because those are really just they're like the training wheels. They're like fundamental moves you need for the later moves, and they're not really moves themselves. They're just building blocks, if you will. So I'm just going to leave those out and just skip to the actual moves. So to begin this quick routine, we're going to start with the simultaneous figure eights, the downward versions. And if you can see here, I'm just doing one arm passing over the other, so my right hand is always passing over my left. Okay, so this is how you want to start. And you don't have to start with your right over your left, you can start at the opposite of what I'm doing. Okay, from there we're going to come down. We're going to go into the upward simultaneous figure eight. Okay, after a few of these, come up, and we're going to go into the basic downward flower. And again, all these moves are covered in previous lessons in this series, so if you don't know how to do any of these, just go back and watch that particular video. Okay, so after a few of the downward basics, we're going to come down. We're going to go into the upward basic flower. After a few of these, come up again. Now we're going to go into the advanced downward flower. Now from here, we're actually going to take this to the side. And we're going to take this and transition it into the upward advanced flower. And then back. Again, like I said in my staff tutorial, spend some time in each technique before transitioning. Don't just rush through it all because this is intended as a practice routine to help you practice the coordination for these moves. So back into the upward. Now you're going to alternate. After you've done this a bit, you're going to stop on the downward. This time you're going to transition behind your back, taking a step forward. Okay. From here, you're going to do the same thing again, stepping forward. Back into the downward. Okay, you're going to do that twice on each side. Okay, now you're going to do the same thing again, this time stepping back with the front leg. scoot up a bit. I hope I'm still in frame here. Again, you're going to do that twice. And once you've done that twice, you're going to come back to the front with the downward flower. And you're going to take that into the sideways flowers. Once you've done a few of those, you're going to take that back into the downward. And again, back into the sideways. This time, instead of going into the downward flower, we're going to go into the upward. So the upward, back into the sideways. And then from there, back into the downward. And from this downward flower, you're just going to bring it down. Now we're going to go into the OB Annie, or the blade barrier, as I call it. Once you've done a series of these, you can go into the alternating plum flower. Again, once you've done a few of these, we're going to take that back into the blade barrier. And from here you can do any finishing move that you prefer. I guess it's just a simple one. And that's basically all there is to that routine. Again, it's not the most fluid because, again, you're dealing with two individual weapons instead of either a single saber or connected sabers. So again, the point of this is just to help you practice those techniques. You can feel free to play around with those transitions, see if you can come up with different ones. There's probably several routines you can make up. This is just a quick one that I thought up. So practice that. It'll take you through, I believe, every technique in this series, and it'll help you build the coordination between the two sabers as well as those transitions. Okay? So hope you enjoy that. Hope it's helpful. Keep up the practice.